In this video, I'm going to go over how to do your oil change on a 2018 Chevrolet Traverse. Now this Traverse is packaged with a 3.6 liter V6, and that's what we'll be doing the oil change on today. First, you want to give yourself plenty of room. Make sure you're in a well-lit, flat surface. Let's go over some of the basic tools you're going to need. One tool that is going to be the most important on the Chevy Traverse is this oil filter strap wrench, band wrench, whatever you want to call it, oil filter wrench. This is a must-have on the Chevy Traverse because of where the oil filter is located. So you're going to want to pick one of these up at your local auto store, O'Reilly's, AutoZone. You could order them online for pretty cheap. It really doesn't matter which one you get, they all work pretty much the same, and we'll go over why it's so important. We'll go over why it's so important to have this filter wrench for the Chevy Traverse oil change. This 2018 Traverse uses a 15 millimeter drain plug. Sometimes it gets a little tight, that's why I have a little bit longer of a ratchet. You're going to want to make sure that you got your oil filter and oil. The 2018 Traverse takes 5W30. You're going to want to make sure it's a Dexos approved, GM approved. Now you can pretty much use anything you want, most filter brand wise, but most important will be that Dexos full synthetic oil. All right, and then you're going to want to get a funnel and a nice big drip pan. I love these cement mixer pans from Home Depot. They're like $5 to $7 and they're really sturdy and easy. I said you can pick up one of these cement mixing pans at Home Depot. They are in the cement section. They're awesome little trick that I like to use for oil changes on the ground. You're gonna get some gloves, some old towels and rags if you don't want to mess up mom or your wife's garage. Some brake clean, a jack. It is possible to do the oil change on the Traverse on the ground without a jack, but sometimes I need the jack to get under there to clean some of the oil off a little better. Now, every time you jack the car up, you're going to want to have a jack stand and always be safe. All right, I think that's about it on stuff you're going to need. Now, this is just the basic stuff. You can get whatever setup you want. There's thousands of different types of funnels out there, wrenches, tools, but the band wrench will be one of the most important pieces on the Traverse. All right, let's get started. All right, first, you're always going to want to set your parking brake. Now, the 2018 has an electric parking brake, so you're going to want to apply that. It will put the light on. All right, next, come down, pop your hood. Now there's a little lever under there, pull it to the side and pull the hood open. All right, this may look foreign to you, but it's all gonna be really easy. So in case you ever forget what kind of oil you need, pop your hood, check the cap, Dexos 5W30. All right, first step, I always like to pull the oil cap, and I either set it right here. Now, the oil cap does not go back on until there is oil put back in. So that's a good reminder that you didn't put oil back in yet until the cap is on. All right, this right here is gonna be your oil dipstick. Let's just pull this out, the oil dipstick, set it on the ground. All right, there is the oil filter right behind the alternator, in between the let's see, alternator AC compressor and sandwiched in between your fans. So this is where your band wrench is going to come in handy, because you can see there's not much room to get it. All right, grab your drip pan. You're going to want to push it right under the front left, And we'll get down low. So you can kind of see what you should be covering. And this is just going to be to catch the oil that comes out of the oil filter. All right, let's go over how this band wrench works. So when you get the band wrench around the oil filter, say that this is the oil filter, slide it over. This will tighten and then turn the oil filter left. So lefty loosey, righty tighty. Now when the band wrench tightens, it's gonna let you twist the oil filter. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. All right, let's do this. You're gonna want to go down on the left position. So you're gonna want to stick your hand with the oil filter wrench in, slide it over. And what I'll do is I'll get a shot of this. It's kind of hard to see. Let's back out. Okay, so here is how you're going to want to position it. It's going to be hard to see, but you're going to want to tighten the wrench by pushing it forward and then pulling it back. And you can see that it is twisting the oil filter. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see that as I'm tightening it to the left, it's turning the whole oil filter. Just slide it off. Now that it's loose, there you go. So oil filter is loose. So now what I'm gonna do is get my hand in there, and you're gonna wanna be really careful if the engine is hot. I like to do these in the morning when you haven't been driving it all day. And now you just hope that you got your drain pan in the right spot. Check it in case you need to move it. Looks good. And then what I do is untwist the filter all the way, and you're gonna wanna pull it up through the engine. Do not let it drop. This is why it's crucial that the engine's not super hot. So just keep untwisting it with your finger. Sometimes it takes a minute. All right, so I got it, and then just pull it up through the top, and then just take it to your towel. And I like to just there until I can, since I only have one hand recording, I'm gonna pause and put this in. Well, I guess I can just do it right in front of you. Let's just slide this out a little bit and put it down. All right, let's put that back so we don't have any oil. All right, there we go. We got the oil filter off. Now I'll let that drip for a minute because it drips, about a quarter of a quart of oil out. Okay, so now to get to the drain plug with a higher sized oil pan like that, there's a couple places that I like to jack the truck up from is right here on this little hump or on this designated body pinch line. You got to be careful on this because these like to fold sometimes, and it's just sometimes not as sturdy. So I'm gonna go off right there on that little hump, and we don't need to go very high, just enough to reach our hand under the oil pan and the oil catch pan. So just get it lined up right about there. Make sure your jack is tight and locked, and I just go up a couple pumps just to get some more clearance on the front. All right. You want to always get your jack stand. All right, so I just have jack stand set up right near the jack in case for whatever reason your jack fails. For a nice little knee pad or some kind of pad comes in handy because you're gonna have to lay down, and we'll lay down and boom, there it is. There's your oil pan and your oil drain plug. Now the Chevy Traverse is really accessible when it comes to reaching that oil drain plug. As you can see, I only needed a few pumps on the jack, and I can fit a wrench right under there. All right, let's drain this oil. So like I said, sometimes the oil drain plug can be pretty tight, so we loosen it with that, and we're loose. So then you want to get your hand and slowly untwist the drain plug until you're going to want to try not to drop it in the oil. That's always the tricky part. So there you go. Oil drain plug. And then you want to find your rag and set it down. Alright, so let's give it a few minutes to drain. Periodically always check your drain plug, drain pan, and make sure you're not losing oil off to the side. And it should only take about a few minutes. Alright, as you can see, it's pretty much done draining. Now, it's going to take half the day for it to stop drizzling like that, so we don't have time for that. Grab your drain plug and put it back in there and tighten it finger tight, and then grab your wrench. Alright, on the 2018 Chevy Traverse, I believe the oil pan torque spec, oil drain plug torque spec is around 16 to 18. Now, we don't have time to be looking it up and grabbing a torque wrench, so you're on a just nice snug until it stops and just a little bit more, and you're good. Don't over tighten it because you're not going to want to blow out the threads in the oil pan. That'll be a whole nightmare that you'll have to go get fixed at a shop. Alright, now the fun part, trying to clean all the oil that spilled. Usually when you take the filter off, a little bit spills on this front subframe, and then most of it spills down the back side of the AC compressor and down onto the oil pan here. So what I like to do is grab a rag and just stick my hand everywhere up in there I can with the rag and get as much oil off before I start spraying it with brake clean. So that's why I like to use old crusty towels, because there's a lot of space on them to get push up in there, push your pan out of the way and start instantly drying so none of it drips on the driveway. So just stick your hand up in there and feel around. The AC compressor right here, and like I said, most of it's on this front frame. And once you get most of it, just put the towel up there as far as you can. Never leave a towel up there. Just stick it up there and pull it down. All right, there's most of it. Let's lay the towel out, and then we'll get our brake clean, and we'll spray around the oil pan area right here, the front frame. Oh. And just kind of gets everything out there. Alright, there we go. Alright, now we can lower the car back down, pull this stuff out, and you're going to want to go real slow with the oil pan, because it will slide around and slosh out. There we go. Got all our old oil out. Alright, what should you do with this waste oil? Well, I like to put it in a 5-gallon bucket with a lid. Most places like AutoZone and O'Reilly's will take used oil. They usually take up to 5 gallons, so sometimes I save until I have about 5 gallons, or I take it as much as I can. Another option is to put the oil back in the old container and just go take it back to O'Reilly's or AutoZone. All right, guys, we're almost halfway. Now let's get that new oil filter on there. All right, you're gonna want to drop the oil filter in the same way you took it out. A common practice is to wipe a nice thin coat of oil on the rubber seal, and that way it goes on wet and supposedly it comes off easier at the end for your next oil change. All right, slide it in there, and same thing, just spin it on. Get a better view right here. Just like one spot where you can put your hand, and you just go straight down and use your fingers to spin the oil filter until it is finger tight, and tight as you can do it with your hand without getting burned or hitting your knuckles. All right, so you can see the new Mobil 1 oil filters on there. So let's grab our strap wrench, band wrench, oil filter wrench that we picked up from the store. Okay, so righty tighty to get the oil filter tight. So same way, you pull back on it and push so it tightens, and then it'll turn the oil filter. And I like to snug these up quite a bit so it smashes that rubber seal down, and dang, you're good. All right, go, it's on. It is going to be the hardest part of this job, is getting used to that, getting used to this band wrench. You can tighten onto the filter and twist. Okay, get your funnel. These long funnels are nice because it'll sit and lay back. The Chevy Traverse 3.6 liter takes 6 quarts of 5W30, so let's start filling it. All right, once you get your 6 quarts of oil in there, I'm gonna let the dipstick drip a little bit, and let's pull it out. All right, now you put oil back in. Let's put the cap back on. All right, now we're gonna check for any miscellaneous tools around the engine bay, because look, I always leave stuff. Make sure everything's out. Check everywhere, because you don't want anything falling down in there. All right, we still have the dipstick out because we have not checked the level. All right, get a rag. This is your first fire up. If you did something really wrong, you're gonna see a bunch of oil gushing out the bottom, but we didn't do anything wrong. So, all right, let's start it up and then we'll check our oil level. Sometimes you get a little clacking, but it's pretty rare. I like to let it run for, I don't know, 10 to 20 seconds. Make sure all the oil gets circulated, and then you're pretty good to shut it off once it's been running for a few seconds. You kind of hear the RPM drop down too. That's probably a good time you can shut it off. And now let's check the level. All right, what we're gonna want to do now that we ran it is check the dipstick. Okay, see there, we focus in on it, and we're gonna want to get the oil somewhere inside those hash marks. All right, let's do it. Pull it out, set it right on a rag, and look at that, right, almost right in the middle of the hash marks. That's pretty good. Now, usually you let it sit after running it for at least a couple minutes. I think the book says something like 5 to 10 minutes or something, but we don't got time for that. So if as long as in a couple minutes it drained back to about halfway in the hash marks, we're good. All right, our oil change is done. Now you always want to kind of glance around, make sure you check coolant level, brake fluid level, and here's a little bonus. Let's add wash fluid. I've heard a couple people online say, where the heck do I put my wash fluid? Well, it's semi-hidden right here, I guess, but it's pretty obvious. There's your washer fluid, and we have a little bit here, so let's add some just to finish off our oil change like we got it done at a shop. All right, that's it. We did it. Let's shut the hood. All right, let's reset the oil light. So oil light, you can do it either in accessory mode or while the engine is running. So we'll just start it, and then we will go down to these arrow keys with the check mark, and we're gonna want to just find it. And there it is, easy as that. We scroll down, and then you're gonna right arrow over and push reset. In accessory mode, you can push the gas pedal 3 times in a row while the engine's off. So accessory mode's key on, engine off. But we're just gonna go in here because we're engine running. Reset it, it'll ask you one more time. Are you sure that you want to reset? Yes. And boom, 100% oil life. We did it, guys. There you go. That's how we do the oil change on the 2018 Chevy Traverse. Now, I've done a lot of Chevy Traverse oil changes, and they're all basically the same as this one, all the way starting since they first came out with the Chevy Traverse. The oil filter is located in the same spot, and I believe the drain pan I think the drain pan stayed up front. It might have faced backwards on one model, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it stayed up front with the rest. All right, thanks guys for watching. Hey, make sure you smash that like button. It helps really push my content and push me to make more cool videos like this. Thanks, guys.